What up? What up? What up? We back. OG Cute should be joining us shortly. Man, I told y'all, boy, once I ate and laid down, I didn't want to get back up, man. Let me see if I can hear Cutes. What up, Cutes? Your volume, no volume. There's no volume. Can't hear you. Can't hear anything, bro. Make sure your mic is turned on and your volume on your phone is up. There's no sound at all, bro. Hey, Wall, what up? TMC Lifestyle, what up? Living life to live again. What up with it? What up, Compton girl? Javon Carter. Yeah, Q, you ain't got no sound, homie. None. None. No, TMC, no. Yeah, I don't know what's up with your sound, Q's. Kiba, what up? Felony Flats. Robert Allison, what up? No, TMC Lifestyle, no. Baltimore City Strong, what up? Cukes, man, no sound, bro. Somehow you gotta turn your sound on. S gang, what up with it? I thought you'd be asleep. I know I went to sleep. Shit. Brothers, greetings, soldiers. RJ, what up? Y'all come to hear Cutes, and Cutes' mic ain't working. I think he's froze, huh? Wave your hand if you're not froze, Cutes. Wait, yeah, here we go again. Cutes. Yeah, your other name is froze. No sound, man. No sound, Cutes. I don't know what's up with your sound. I don't know if it's your Wi-Fi or your phone, but there's no sound. Michelle, what up? King Groove. Did you get this? Of course I did. And I meant to call you and cuss you out. Not in a bad way, in a joking way. But I'll save it for offline. Yeah, I seen him. We hung out. He late to everything, boy. Late. Boy, always late. He's unmuted. It's on his end. It's not on my end. I don't know what's wrong with his line. He's froze again. Don't y'all see him just standing there? He's texting me now. What up, JC Senior? JRL, what's up with it? How y'all doing, man? Yeah, I seen a few homeboys. A few, not a whole lot, but I seen a few homies today. Shout out to Stan. Stan is Stan's birthday today. Happy April 12th, Stan. Happy birthday, Rihanna, my niece's daughter. Also, my grandniece, great niece. Happy birthday. Smurf from 6-0. Smurf, happy birthday. It's his birthday today, too. My cousin Tammy. Happy birthday, Tammy. My cousin's birthday today as well. Happy birthday, everybody. April 12th. I'm better than I should be by all the glory of God, my brothers and sisters. That's what's up. Big Ken, what up? His baby, Joe Mosley, he very educated on the comment. I don't know who Joe Mosley is. He talks like he's a homeboy, like he's from the set. But I don't know. Q says send him a new invite. It's gonna be the same link. Q's. Mm. All right, yo, Kev, your Lakers did my Dallas Mavericks dirty the other night. You lost 50. You know not to mess with them Lakers, man. Clifford Sims, what up? Damn, Joe, thought you was 101. Tell Q's turn battery save mode on then off. to shut off his. Oh yeah, cute. No, I don't think it's that though. It's about the sundress season, bro. It's time to be outside, you dig? RJ, what up with it?
It's working now.
It sure is.
Yeah.
What happened?
What's up, Mac kids? They had to reboot. That's all.
All right.
What's up,
It's
Mac kids and maniacs? How y'all been doing?
a man says sundress season. I didn't really see too many sundresses. I seen some like some skin tight shorts. You know what? I seen once. Nah, I didn't see no sundress. I mean, I might have. I didn't recognize no sundresses though. Can you tell Cuse Lee tapping in for a few? Cuse heard me.
All right, brother Lee. That's cool.
I remember when parking was free in Vegas as well. Now they want a grip. You're right about that. They're gonna have to change that if they want to get people to come start coming back out here. Good, what up with it, good? Happy Aries season to you as well, good. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard.
dude.
It's hard.
Where's the flying saucers, Goob?
Good got a new channel, a new type of channel, man.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I was just thinking Ronnie Strawberry had a birthday this month too. Yeah, me and Ronnie don't really be active on Instagram like that no more, so we haven't corresponded. I haven't seen anything from Ronnie lately.
Happy birthday, Ronnie. I hope everything's going good in the church.
Hey man, damn, I didn't even ask about. I met an older dude, an OG dude from Harlem today. He knew everybody. Well, I mean, he's from Harlem, so he knew all the OGs that you talk about all the time. He knew Tim as well.
What was his name?
I don't remember Q's. I don't.
Oh, shit.
But his face already looked familiar, so now when I see him again, I'm gonna know who he is. But I don't
Yeah.
remember the name.
Hey, for those of you who have never been incarcerated, in the federal system, in the state system, the only difference in the two systems is that if you go to the feds, you commit a federal crime. If you go to the state, you committed a state crime. If you live in the District of Columbia, because they don't, everything in the District of Columbia falls up under the feds. So there's more, inner city people from the District of Columbia in certain federal institutions. And that's with the minorities in the minority race like that. But wherever California goes, wherever we go, wherever we wind up, this is the dynamic. When we wind up in the feds, California rides together. So whatever shit jumps off in the feds, like with different, cities or states, California rolls together. And wherever California goes, California holds its own. So that's in the state. It ain't like that. In the state, we have cars. So you had a Crip car, you got a blood car, you got the white car, you got the Mexican cars. So we separate it like that. But when you go in the feds, the state of California basically rides together. So, it depends on where you go in the feds. That's usually how it is. I ain't never been to the feds, but they had this one dude riding around in his car talking about the feds and talking about when brothers from California go to the feds, how it's going to be like this and like that. And he looked it so scary like a hook, the way he was saying it. I could tell he ain't never been nowhere. You got career criminals, who live in the feds who ain't never coming out of the feds
Hmm.
from California, that's stuck in the feds. Wherever you go, convicts is going to respect each other. You come on up on somebody with some of that hook buster stuff, then you're going to get your hat brought to you. But wherever California goes, California can hold its own because our level of thug, wherever we go, is supreme to anywhere else where thugs exist. That's if you reach that plateau of being a thug. And I mean, most guys who come up in the inner cities and the different gangs that we have out here in California, the the way we polished each other, we can do time anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's five of us, one of us, or 20 of us, because wherever we at, we fit enough to do the time.
Mm.
Wherever we go. So don't let nobody come on no one of these little fake pods and try to tell you, oh, it's gonna be so spooky for someone when they get to the feds. Really, the only spook's gonna come is when the spook is let out. That's when the spook will come. And all of us got a little spook in us.
Hey, ETG North got a question for you. Go ahead and ask. TMC Lifestyle said, "Did you ever meet Lunatic Frank, or was he too young?"
No, little lunatic Frank and them, they were all of them young brothers. They were right there in the neighborhood. They were like Moncrief's age, So Monster, they were maybe they were a little older than Monster, But yeah, I know little lunatic. But could I could I say, okay, it's like we grew up in a little area of Los Angeles called South Central. We grew up in the '60s, so you got the overhills, you got the front over there, the neighborhoods, all of us together. You got Big Rick and them over there in the avenues. So all of us, we all know each other. The youngsters know all the older G's, and the older G's knew all the young G's because everybody was demonstrating well. You got to realize if you rubbing elbows with us down in the funk, we all know of each other. We see each other's names written on the wall. They going through juvenile hall. We moving up to the youth authority YTS. They going to YTS. We're already in the joint. We know they coming. Because we live in that criminal lifestyle.
All right, ETG North said, "Cutes, the Magnificent Seven run with us, and if so, are you basically my big homeboy?"
Exactly. Exactly. Me, Rayford, we were all Horseman Crips first. Then we became Westside. We stayed together all the time. Big Frog, Sapo, Smokey Joe, Sleepy, Big Baycock, Little Baycock, Hunchy. Everybody over there, we were all friends, man. It's my homeboys too. We were all West Sides up at St. Andrews Park.
Man, so how's the weather out there in San Diego, Cutes?
It's still, it's springtime, so there's some sunny days, like today is considered a sunny day, but it's still some overhead, clouds and everything in the sky. I want it just to clear all the way up. So this new paint with this metallic that I shot, well, I didn't shoot it, but my homeboy shot it, and I want my motorcycle. I want to flex on Peanut, down the boulevard. I missed him today, though. I heard he was in town.
And you know what? I'm glad you guys got questions for Cutes because we were trying to figure out what do we want to focus on today. And so here's the next question. Cutes, can you explain the difference between camp, juvenile hall, CYA, YTS, reception, and CDC?
All right. Let's start in the beginning, the substation. First, you get booked in. So you get fingerprinted. You get booked in. They tell you what you booked in for. That's the crime they're holding you for. So if you're a juvenile, they send you to juvenile hall. You're being bound over to court. Go to arraignment. You're in juvenile hall. You're a little kid. In juvenile hall, they got areas in juvenile hall: S&T, M&N, C&D, E&F. So they name them after the alphabets. So you got the little kids over in S&T. They could be anywhere from 9-year-old to 10 to 11 years old over there. Then you got M&N. They could be anywhere from 14, 13, all the way up to 15. Then you got E and F. Those are the bigger kids. They're like 17. Those are the more fit kids over there. So they would be over in there. C and D, sort of mediocre, 14 and 15. So that's why. I mean, that's East Lake Juvenile Hall. He had Las Padrinas Juvenile Hall. Counselors were real abusive in these places toward the youth. Their sexual abuse, all sorts of weird shit was going on in there. Being taken advantage of, all kind of shit was jumping off in juvenile hall. So you go to camp. So these little kids, they get sentenced. So they get found guilty for trespassing, burglary, car, GTA, Grand Theft Auto. They send them to the camps. So most of the camps were in the San Dimas Mountains. You had Camp Rocky, you had Camp Efferball, you had Camp Page for the little kids that come out of S&T. So those little kids, they went to Camp Page. Then they had the females. They would go to Ventura. So Ventura's up there a little past Malibu. Then you had the little kids who wasn't wrapped too tight. So they would go to Camp Murillo. But Camp Murillo was more of a mental hospital. So they would send the kids there. So that's dealing with the camps. Now, once the kids get out of camp, they want to continue in their delinquency. Now they graduate into the youth authority. So the youth authority is YTS. So YTS, the California Youth Authority. So you go to YTS, you could go to Nellis, or you could go to, you go in there and you got a little more time. The sentences are like 18 months. So you go in there, you learn a trade. They had airplane, a body airplane. They had welding, carpentry, uh, building maintenance, 101, different things there, or in school, you could continue wherever you left off at school, and you might be in the college unit, in YTS. So that's YTS. You continue to mess up, you get out of YTS, now you go to adult authority. Once you reach this certain age, you could also get kicked out of YTS, and they could send you to to Tracy. So Tracy was the first stop for the kids in California that had thug in them. So they would send them to Tracy. They dubbed it gladiator school. Because when we would get in there, we would be gladiator fighting, and just causing havoc all over the place inside of there. Then once you get out of Tracy, if that wasn't enough for you, then they could send you to a higher level. See, prison system got levels. So Tracy was considered a level 3, and then you could get in trouble. You could go to the level 4, which was back then was Old Folsom and San Quentin. These were penitentiaries. Those were the two last penitentiaries in California. So,
Mm.
but now they always add a new one next to an old one. So they end up building
Right.
33 prisons.
Yeah, they do. The different yards.
Mm.
Hey, you ever been to Vacaville?
No.
No. Hey, so ain't nothing going on in here. We just asking cute questions about the system and stuff like that. Uh, Nikki Lee, what's up with you? Nikki Lee, why you don't ask Cuse to pill out sometime? Since you be checking people labs. Uh, inter-
why you put
interesting,
her? Why you put Nikki on the spot, Kev?
because she always asking about abs. She's intimidated by you.
Oh.
Interesting. I always thought they just threw them all together. I was thinking segregation era dominated the prison system, and California kids were pitted against each other for the entertainment of correctional officers.
Well, they got the California model now, but that's so true. You had those abusive counselors, and I mean, they went through the shoes before we got there, so they knew how to set up. They could just set up a fight, or they could. It's a limited amount of resources, so they knew how to pit the kids against each other. Because remember, while we fighting each other, that takes our mind off of them.
Have you ever been to high desert?
No, High Desert was one of the newer prisons.
That's true, Cuse. I never looked at it like that. If they let us go at each other, we don't think about doing anything to them. I never looked at it like that.
Yeah, it's just a game of chess. right now, a lot of the CDC hours are scared to work there
Yeah,
because of the California model. They would rather it be the old way where they gladiator fight us, and they would give us indefinite shoe terms because they were so afraid of us that they would rather just lock us away somewhere with no rehabilitation, no program, just straight suffering.
but they afraid of us because they know they wrong in how they treat people.
Exactly. They would go in there and rat pack you. They would tear your cell up. They had some real abusive behaviors.
They was
So
real good with tearing up your personal belongings, man, and your
yeah.
bed material. They was foul for that, especially
And they
when
would be jealous. They would be jealous of us too. Like if you got visits and you had people that love you and send you letters, they read your mail and they up in that tower all night reading your mail and they say, "Dang, how come a pretty woman like that can't love me? How come I can't get a woman like that? How come she loves that piece of trash over there in cell 4?"
yeah, and then sometimes if you got multiple girlfriends, they'll switch the letters and shit.
Yeah, they do that. They do all of that stuff. That's why you got to tell your girlfriend. I write, a couple more girls, but I just want you to know you my number one. I'm in here locked away, and every
Right,
time you go to bed at night, you know where I'm at.
right,
That's what I would say.
right. Yeah, but I thought it was foul. They put water in your cell and
Yeah,
you know,
cut your toilet water off. Don't
yeah,
give you no toilet paper.
yep,
All kind of crazy stuff.
yeah, that was foul.
Yeah.
The KKK was deep in California, according to some of Malcolm X speeches and George Jackson.
KKK is still deep in California.
Um, you know what they also used to do? They used to steal your pictures. Like if you had pictures of your girlfriend or some banged out classic gang pictures, they raid your cell and then steal your pictures and act like they don't know where the pictures went.
Yeah. And so
Another,
so that takes away from the normal acting cops. The ones who just come to go to work, want to go home at the end of the day. They don't like the cops that make trouble because they might get caught up in the crossfire of troublemakers. So usually when a sergeant moves, he takes his whole crew with him because he don't want to get around a bunch of new cops that don't know how to program or run a program. So most of the stuff going on in prison now is because they're trying a new program, but you got a lot of the cops working against the new program. So they want the program to implode, and crash, and they want to go back to the old way. But it ain't never going back to the old way. Because you got to realize when Hugo and them were in the hole, they were in the hole for like 40 years.
man, man, that's crazy. But another thing they used to do too, like in the county jail. Well, I mean, they did me like this in prison one time in a dorm, but in the county jail, they raid like 13 cells and then they take all your stuff out the cell and they throw it like in a pile. Now people fighting over Snickers and Kit Kats. They like, that was my Kit Kat. I had 6 Kit Kats. And dudes be like, no, it's mine and stuff like that. Dudes snatching your girl's pictures. They was foul for that. They did that on purpose. And plus, nobody want to sleep in somebody else's blankets or sheets. So now y'all fight. You don't know whose blanket or whose sheet that is.
Their self esteem is so low, they did all of that to make themselves feel superior. But all the time, they copying us. They talking like us. They getting tattoos like us. These are the guards. The
Yeah,
guards with the lowest self esteems start talking just like the inmates.
yeah, they do.
They
Police,
even start. They even start walking like us.
yeah. What up, Slick? Slick, you coming down, man, or what? Or you gonna flake again? You have excuses every year. Big TY, what up? Kinetic moves. They do.
What's up? What's up, Slick?
Reggie Owens, what up? Did any Westside Crips branch out and start a Crip set outside of LA County after all permission was given?
So yeah, you had Kelsey. He started the Crips over there in
Carson?
yeah, Carson. Then you had Big Mouse. He helped start some Crips out there in Pomona.
Oh,
Then
wow.
you had you had me. I helped start some Crips in Fontana. You had Baboon. He started some Crips in Bakersfield. And you just all over, man. You
Did,
know.
oh, dang, I hit the wrong one. I meant to get Sinbad. Hold on. Sinbad Tray. Hold on. Sinbad,
Pook,
Sinbad, Sinbad.
Pookie,
He said,
Pook,
all love, cutes. The KKK comes in uniform and speak two different languages and live next door to you. Sinbad Tray.
yeah, that's for sure.
Cutes,
But
how did
at the end of the day, they want to be like us. Just remember that they want to be like us because they surprise how strong we are. How we can endure. But see, we came from Africa, but the way they made the slaves suffer when they got here, they just wonder how do we evolve to this point? Because we weren't even supposed to get this far.
mm, that's deep right there. Any particular books you recommend reading, cutes?
Yeah, looking in, looking out by Adler in Town. The Prison Personality, Volume 1, 2, and 3 by Yetson. And I guess you could read The Spook That Sat by the Door
Oh
or look
yeah,
at the movie.
yeah.
Or you could read a lot of self help books. IQ, versus your emotional intelligence. Read that book. Because what made me really enjoy that book is the simple fact if you see someone in prison, so you say, okay, they just brought this guy in prison, right? And he was a math, beautician, and he ended up killing his professor because he thought his professor had it in for him, and so he didn't wait for his grade. He just saw in his mind that it was going to not be a good grade, so he killed him. And his grade, his grade was going to be a passing grade. So that all came, about. But he didn't have no emotional intelligence. So
Mm,
he had a high IQ, but he lacked emotional intelligence. So
mm.
I lacked emotional intelligence. My emotional intelligence was real low. Most I won't say most because I haven't met everyone, but a great majority of you know kids, we grow up, you know, emotionally illiterate, and by the time we start getting high and drinking and smoking weed and whatnot and whatever else we're doing, it hinders our emotional development, even further down the road, but
The
we can
ISIS
rebound
paper,
from that too.
ISIS paper by Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. Sinbad said, look at the new police force and who is joining at a high rate. Damn it. I used to speak about that. I mentioned it not too long ago, Sinbad. Who's joining at a high rate will call you the N word quicker than the slave masters, Sinbad. Absolutely, Sinbad. They do. And I'll say it for you, they be wearing bald heads. A lot of the Mexican police and a lot of the Japanese police with bald heads, man. They be on that racist stuff. It does stunt your growth. Some of us stuck on 15.
Yeah, that's if you start getting high like when you was 10 or 11, emotionally you're still 10 or 11 if you continue to get high off of it.
It's real grace. What up with it? Peace on earth, goodwill, family, and friends. Uh oh, here come Tweel. Not all of us come from a slave boat. You did
That's
tour the
good.
guy.
Maybe you came from a slave plane.
I saw you when you get dropped off. uh, I mean, we all came from somewhere, right? Suppose came from Africa, the continent of Africa. So how did we move around? But that ain't my thing, man. I don't know all that history, but
Yeah, we don't know all that history, man.
Miss 702, that's right. I got no complaints here. It was a beautiful day, and I appreciate you always.
Hey, Kev, you know what's crazy, man?
What?
When I was in Camp Cleopatra, that's the
Hmm.
AWOL camp, right? So
Hmm.
I'm in Camp Cleopatra, and so you get a counselor. So my counselor, he would call me in the office. I was sitting there with him, and he would really say, "You want to call home?" I would say, "Yeah." He would push the phone over by me, "Call home." I call home, say, okay. I say, I'm talking on the phone to my mom, talking to my brothers, enjoying my phone call. Then he says, okay, let me say hi to him. And I said, here. So I give him the phone. My mom's talking to him. How's he doing? Oh, he's doing good. I'm working with him. He's cool. He's chilling out. He should be coming home pretty soon. So that I'm like, wow. So he says, yeah, you on my caseload. So I got to check in with you every 2 days, but I haven't been able to do that. So I'm lucky if I get you in here once a week. He says, do you need anything? And I said, like what? He said, anything. Just what do you need? I said, I need some money. No, anything but money. I said, well, some cookies. Then he said, I could help you with that. So he opened up the bottom drawer and he pulled out these cookies because I had heard other kids say he gave out cookies. So he said, here, don't let nobody know I gave them to you. But all the kids know he gave out cookies. So as soon as you walk out of there, did you get some cookies, Cubes? Give me one. I gave you some of mine last time. You know how motherfuckers are. Wait till I get away from the door, motherfucker. Shit. Running my counselor off, dude. Crazy. I'm gonna give you one. Be cool. So anyway, guess who my counselor was?
Who?
He was Chuck Sipes. And now that was crazy.
Who
Cause he
was
used
that?
to tell me Chuck Sipes was a beast. But he was older then. Chuck Sipes was like Sergio Olivia, but he was white. And Chuck Sipes could like bench press 500 and shit. Chuck Sipes wasn't no joke, dog. And so, but I couldn't tell because he used to always wear this big old sweatshirt, and I just thought he was fat. And so he would talk to me sometime, and he would say, "So you're starting to work out, or do you like working out?" And I said, yeah, I could do more push-ups than anybody. And he says, how many could you do? I says, I could do 20 on one arm. And he said, let me see you. So I bust out 20 on one arm. Bing, bing. He says, now do the other arm. So I knock out 20 on the other arm. He says, pretty amazing. Like that. He says, I used to enjoy exercise when I was your age too. And then I says, you did? He says, yeah, one day you can realize who I am. And then I was just like, wonder why he always say that. One day I'm gonna realize who he is. And then I didn't realize who he was until, not too long ago, you know. And that's who he was, Chuck Sipes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Rich Porter, yeah, we bought King Baba Louie, AC, Barefoot Pookie, Monster Cody, and Pretty Boy, and more than that. But yeah, we bought some big names here, man, and glad Cuse is still with us.
We
But
would have got more if brothers didn't wait so long and procrastinate. We would have got X, we would have got Monkey Man, we would have got Melvin Hardy, we would have got Big Bob, we would
Black
have got
Dog, Black Dog, Vince
Black
Sholon,
Dog, sure.
Black,
Yeah, Black
Black,
Dog said he was gonna do it, and then he
yeah,
got cold feet.
he
Soon
came
as
all
he
the
got
way out here, but then
here.
he went to Stag funeral. Was like, man, next time.
Yeah.
TQ want to do one. TQ ready.
Well, that's what you gotta get. You gotta get TQ over the phone to do one.
I know he got a lot of stipulations though. So when I'm ready, I'll try to get
Yeah.
him. Hopefully he ain't going nowhere no time soon.
He looked pretty healthy, so I don't think so.
Yeah, we got Rebo. We didn't forget him, bro.
You
Just
know, TQ was a horseman crip.
I didn't know that, but I know
Yeah.
he was Crip 5.
And he was a Harlem too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, dude, keep asking the same question. Cuse, how do you feel when neighborhoods broke on Westside and started their own set? And what could have been done looking back on it to keep it just Westside?
Well, what Tookie shouldn't have went to with Big Bob. But see, it was only right for the older brothers from that generation to evolve and start doing more grown man stuff. So you had Melvin Hardy going to college, you had AC going to college, Michael Conception going to college. Uh, you had Michael Christian going off, when he went to YTS. So, some of these dudes went away. You had the brothers that went away from the other thing, that happened. I don't want to mention it, but they went away for a long time too. So we had that meeting in '72 to break the West Side up because of brothers, trying to evolve and move on away from it. And then it just it just occurred. Everybody's nothing's gonna remain the same. Everything's gonna like take on the character of the participants in that group. And those older guys, they were moving on. They were either going to prison, they were either going to do something right with their life, and some of them, just moved out of the state completely. But it had to break up. The only way it couldn't have broke up if if Took didn't go to want to become more, responsible and get a job, and drive all the way back from living there all the way back to the West Side. But there was a lot of animosity and jealousy just that exists to this day. See someone doing a little better than you, then you start plotting on them, and we got that bad.
Got it
We,
bad. You know what I thought you was gonna say was it blew up. It's the membership swole so fast and so large that it was no way to stay up under one banner.
well, that could have been it too. But the only way it blew up is we were out there, recruiting, and other kids were doing the same thing, with the kids
Yeah,
around them. Because we
yeah,
were the immediate neighborhood. We were the neighborhood.
right.
Right? The neighborhood was up and down Western, up
Yeah,
and down Crenshaw, up
yeah.
and
What?
down back over there, up and down Figueroa and
Yeah, Western seems
Vermont.
like the epicenter.
Yeah, Vermont. We were right there. It's all flat. You didn't have to go over no hills to run into us. We were
Yeah,
all in the flatland.
and Vermont seemed to be sort of like another epicenter, like
Yeah.
two main spots going north to south on the west side.
Took said it was all berry fields. He said that's why it was so flat.
Mm,
See, yeah, they got a few hills. You go up there by where you lived at, there was some hills, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
I believe Main Street Swans are the originals, the 77th West Side. Oh boy. Just watch Creep interview. Creep's interview had a lot of different parts to it. So when you say is there more to it, it was a bunch of parts to it. After that, outside of that, no, there's nothing new. Can Cuse name all the sets he been a part of? The Black Coats, Horseman, Dinker, West Side, Magnificent Seven.
Okay.
Baby
Vanguard.
Outlaws.
What on the street?
He
Baby
no,
Outlaws.
no,
Okay,
cause Black
Okay.
Black
Okay.
Coats
No.
prison.
Yeah. Black Coats, Baby Outlaws. Now let me put it in a sequence. Okay. First was the Baby Outlaws. Then the 68th Street Ants. Then the Magnificent Seven. Then the West Side Crips, then the Fontana Crips, then um, went into the joint, uh, uh, the black coats, then vanguards, then what else I ran with in there? I ran with the Crips in there too. Okay, the Folsom Crips. We had those Crips. We was together there. Then shit, I might be forgetting one or two. Two
Damn.
different sets. But I always liked to be around the fellas, I mean, what else is there to do if you live in this life, and you hear and you ain't, you wasn't blessed with a silver spoon in your mouth, man.
Mm.
You
Yep.
know.
Black coats, you got to break that down, Cutes, and the Folsom Crips.
Yeah. So when my generation first got to Tracy, there was already established prison gangs. We a street gang coming into that environment. So there was another brother lived in the Nickersons named Big Kilo. So Kilo seen that I had somewhat of an influence of all the brothers that were just coming in from our way from YTS. So he recognized that. Kilo had came in there through a wave before mine, and he didn't want to roll with none of them other groups that was already established. So he told me we should start our own thing, and I said, "Well, I'm a Crip," and he said, "Well, I run over here to Nickerson's, but I'm not a bounty hunter, but I grew up over here, and I'm a thug in the street, just like you." And I said, "All right, then we'll do it." And we did it. And we had resistance, we had conflict. So they realized my influence, so they wrote me up first and sent me to level 4. So as soon as I got to level 4, I started the Folsom Crips, and then I started having conflict with them with some more Crips. And then there was always conflict, and that's just how it was.
Rich Porter, that's a good question, but on my part, it'd be too much speculation. And when Tyrone was killed, I wasn't gangbanging on Tyrone's death day. And Cuse broke it down before, but Cuse, they want to know who had a big enough influence to stop the '60s and A-Tray War back in 1979.
Something has to be stopped before it started. So no one could have stopped it once it started.
Great
But
answer.
there was something that could have made a big difference if me and Big Rick would have went to the fight. That it would have never came to that. If Big Rick would have came to the fight, and I would have came to the fight that they were going to have that day, but we just thought that the little homies would handle their stuff like we handled our stuff, because we would
Mm.
fight each other the same way, but no one ever put out a weapon at a fight, even if you got beat up. No one. It would just be like we would see each other that weekend. We'd be back friends. Your feelings would be hurt, and that would be it. They wanted me to go to the fight. They came to get me to go to the fight. They actually begged me to go to the fight,
Yeah, you
and I,
told
and
me.
I, and I didn't go, and that
You
makes
told
me
me.
mad.
You
Yeah, that
said
makes
because
me
they was
mad.
little kids, you thought little
Yeah,
kids would be able to work it out. It wasn't nothing serious.
yeah, I didn't. But they brought this new booty over there who wanted to prove himself and who didn't know none of them kids because those kids all knew each other.
But shit,
Yeah, I
he
went
got
to
the
school together.
but he allegedly, supposedly got a gun from one of the A trays. So,
Yeah, but the A Trey dude thought he was gonna pop in the air. He
oh,
didn't know that the fool was gonna take the gun and shoot it straight at people. He just thought he was gonna discharge it in the air and make everybody just run different ways and go back, to their own sections and stuff. Because the
damn.
fight was basically over.
Mm,
They were
oh,
just as shocked when he did that as everybody else that was there. Because that wasn't called for.
was you at Crenshaw when Tony Stacy was there?
Yeah, yeah, we were all there at the same time.
Mm,
Yeah, we were there at the same time. Fact is, it was our mission to be there at the same time.
damn. Big Dom, what up with it? Man, my skin feel all dry.
Well, you got to get some Jergens lotion. You got to rub that Jergens lotions on yourself when you get out the shower.
Yeah, I got some, but it ain't Jergens though. I use that
Well, what do
cocoa
you?
cocoa butter lotion.
That shit make me sweat too much. I don't
Yeah,
like
it
it.
do.
It seems like I don't know what it is, but I think that shit clogs your pores.
It probably do, cause you're right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
I would
use
use Jergens.
I don't
Jergens
use it a
is
lot.
light.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hey man, I saw this video of Michael Christian, a new one.
Uh-huh.
He's still on swole.
Yeah, y'all swole.
He's 70 years old.
Damn. He still work out faithfully though.
Yeah, well, he's natural.
I hope his mind is natural and he come get this interview.
He will. He just got to get around to it.
Yeah,
He
I
got
think
to.
he's too busy to write a book.
You got to tell. He's a trainer, so he trains these people how to work out.
Yeah.
So that's how he do it.
Yeah. You're right though. That lotion make you hot and sweaty.
Yeah, it's. I put some of that crap on one day, and I said, "Nah, this shit is greasy too. It don't stop being greasy." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Man, I'm cool on that butter.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really use no lotion, but I'm saying if I just like if I'm ashy, then I'll put it on, which is almost never. Or
If you're a woman of you pregnant, a young lady out there, if y'all pregnant, the best thing to put on your stomach for stretch marks, and I seen this work, is the olive oil. You put olive oil on there, and you put the cocoa butter. You get the lotion and put that on your stomach. But you keep it on there as you growing. You
yeah,
don't just put it on there when you're 9 months.
right,
And say, oh,
right,
it's gonna make all this go away. No, you
right.
gotta start early when you know
Yeah,
you got pregnant.
that's true, cute.
Yeah. You gotta put it on your butt and everywhere. You're gonna have stretch marks coming from the front and the back.
Damn.
I mean, I'm not gonna mind if you keep your symmetry and everything still looks cool and you can rock it, like a hillbilly, we can still roll.
Hmm. Um, we have oily skin, the melanin.
Yeah, we got
Oatmeal
melon.
lotion. What up, baby E? What's up, man? What's up with it? Let me see. Somebody had said something. Somebody said they on the they on the women now. Oh no, Rich Porter. I don't think I'll ever get a Big Rick or Babyface interview, but I think Rick could go on camera, but I don't think he's finna do no interview. Some women be looking good with stretch marks and a little fupa.
Yeah, I like them when they wear those terry cloth shorts and you can just see a little stretch mark, coming from the left and right yam. That should be cool. I'd be like, okay,
Y'all killing me with that, man.
yeah. I like. See, someone said they like is the summer dresses. The KFC some summer dresses today. I can't wait to see the girls in those booty shorts when they be
That's
walking and they
that's
be kind of loose on them, but you could just see, man, the big old booty just shaking in there like Jello.
well they was wearing like they was wearing the stretch shorts, but they didn't have the best bodies to make the shorts look good. And then they had some like with the bikini outfits, but then they had the little net dresses over it so you could see through them.
Well, it's
Uh,
early. It's early. They just
right.
experimenting with they look. By
Yeah,
the summer, by June, maybe even May, they're gonna know what to wear, and we're
absolutely.
gonna start enjoying it more.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think they was 100% ready yet, bro.
Yeah, they just filling it out. They sisters got to tell them, no, you look better with that one. No, wear that. Don't wear that. You got to listen. Women need to listen to other women, except if the other woman is trying to get you to show, cover up your butter. So you don't wear that because that don't look good. Men don't like that. They're gonna think you're a tramp. Let me tell you something. We never think you're a tramp. You can wear whatever you want. We ain't gonna think you no tramp.
Man, yeah, some women's attributes outweigh the stretch marks. That's true. Depending what the stretch marks are like. Like you have some just very natural stretch marks, but then you have some that look like a tiger been clawing on them. Like those are very bad looking, right? Where it just takes away from the natural color of their skin and it just look like white meat up in there. They be hating on their home chicks. KF Cuse, what up? What up, Anthony Brown?
What up, brother? Anthony Brown. Send mine out to OG Steve-O. May your mom be in heaven.
Yeah, man. Yeah, she's all right. She's getting better, man. She's getting
Hey,
better.
what up, Kim?
Man, I'm glad you made it home. You just getting there?
No, I've been here for a minute. I just got off the shower.
Oh, all right. I was about to say, what you do? Go 50 the whole way home?
No, I've been here since about 9.
All right. Yeah, I was looking for you. I said, man, you could have said bye, but you did give me a 10-minute warning, though.
You forgot about that. I thought about it when I was on the road, so I was like, damn, I never said bye to kid.
Nah. But it's all good.
It was good hanging out with you today, man. Good seeing you and shit.
Yeah, good seeing you too, man. All right. Take care.
Yeah, you too, brother.
All right, later.
That sound like Peanut.
Nah, that's Ed. My buddy
Ed?
Ed was like the G where I lived at. He didn't gang bang, but he was still about that thug stuff. And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
he was my sister's age. My sister that be on here, they went to school together, Palisades. So
Oh,
we kind of the younger dudes, we looked up to him. He was one of the guys we looked up to in the neighborhood.
hey, man, now that you said Palisades, I always thought that if you went to school in Palisades, you were over Pacific Coast Highway.
Yeah.
Wow, that was cool. Was that a
Yeah.
busing program?
It was a busing program. And you know the funnest part about that? You would
What's
actually
that?
see dolphins. You would see dolphins in the ocean.
Wow.
And
Because you
that's why,
way high up over everything, huh?
yeah, but I mean on PCH. So it's a little, and you're on a bus. So you
Yeah.
hired in the ocean. But that's why they call it the Palisades Dolphins.
Okay. Yeah, I was up in there when I was in camp. We used to always go on the counselors would take us out on the bus and we would go down PH, well, Pacific Coast, PC. And we would just go all the way down. And it was at a time when they had a real bad fire and everything was still healing up again.
That's
But
what just happened.
this time, it took everything away.
It took Palisades with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just burnt everything. Now
Yeah.
it was a soup. This was a super fire.
A lot of the Palisades High School alumni, they chipped in money for the school though.
Yeah, well, I hope they build it back if it didn't burn down.
Chips, juice, and money. All y'all was fortunate. I went to all my home schools 943. Well, I enjoyed Crenshaw more than I enjoyed any school outside of the 943.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it Washington. I only went for a short period of time, but then I went to Duke Ellington. But the most school I really enjoyed was probably Raymond Avenue Elementary School.
I feel like Crenshaw really understood black people and the black community because they wasn't really tripping when you did school. Like it was so easy just to go out that side gate and just walk home and have no problems. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. They didn't
Palisades,
want to chase you. They didn't chase y'all down the street with the
right,
car. Huh?
right. But Palisades was a little different. It might be an undercover cop want to grab you and take you back to school or call the school police. I don't really like that. I mean, you could get away, like I think in Palisades after some people some people could leave the campus for lunch. So of course they wasn't gonna sweat you leaving the campus, but you try to ditch school and walk around there, man. They knew a black person wasn't supposed to be up there, but at Crenshaw they wasn't tripping, man. They just let you go on about your business.
Did the kids drive Ferraris to school?
Nah, but they had BMWs and stuff like that.
Cool.
Couple of Benzes,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah. When we went to Crenshaw, students didn't want to drive their car to school because they would open and close the gate. So sometimes you couldn't even get out. Your car is locked in. You couldn't even leave to after school. So,
Yeah, I remember they would. I remember. Well, when I was going there, they wouldn't lock the car in, so that's when Craig Craddock and them would come, and they would park the car in there and get out.
Big Ty said he bet on the Dodgers. Legendary loss, 16-0. I was getting text messages like, "What is Dave Roberts doing?" Every time I see somebody blame Dave Roberts, I get to clapping because people that don't really know baseball, they love Dave Roberts and think Dave Roberts is not an issue.
The Padres are number one.
Padres are balling. They passed the Giants.
Yeah, so watch out.
We used to hit Chris Burgers every morning and get to school at second period. I used to go to school. I used to go to school with everybody else, right? But I would miss first period. I would always fail first period. I just couldn't get into first period, man.
That's when you get your mind together in first period.
Let me
Just
rephrase that. Let me
yeah.
rephrase it. I didn't always fail first period. In seventh grade, both semesters, and in 10th grade, both semesters, I failed some my classes. 1985 Uni homecoming game, Fairfax won 52-0. You still remember the score. That had to be a special game for you.
That was an ass whooping.
Yeah. But I remember 1985. I don't like when people here bring up 1985 because they never bring up that Crenshaw went undefeated and won the world championship in 1985. How about that? I remember that. Undefeated, beat every school they ever played in the city, in the state, in the nation, and overseas.
In 1985,
Yes, sir.
and that was basketball.
Yep, basketball. Coach Willie West, one of my childhood
Well,
friends.
that's what I wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
So Coach Willie West started at Harshman. He was our
Okay.
coach at Harshman.
All right.
And then when all of his kids went with Moncrief had a brother, a real tall brother. He was like 6'6". So I think he hurt his knee, or he would have made it to the pros, but he hurt his knee. But anyway, uh, that coach followed all of those kids there. He said, "You know what? I'm gonna keep all you guys with me." He had Carl Duckett's brother. Well, who was the other brother's name that got in trouble with bad news in them?
Maurice Duckett.
Yeah, Maurice Duckett, and then there was another one that played basketball real good.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It was like three people got in trouble, and so he went there because they was going there.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. He's supposed to did some telling.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's supposed to did some telling.
Okay.
Uh he said we was messed up. We was just going to school to gang bang and mess with the female. Who was the
Well,
tallest and shortest crip you ever met, Q's?
maybe it was something in the water that made us feel that way because that's the only thing I looked forward to. It was like something was, controlling my mind. The shortest crip I ever met was a crip named Shorty. And
Me
Shorty
too.
was about 5'2". He was swole though. Oh, and Herc from West Boulevard.
Mm.
Little Herc from West Boulevard. He was like 5'5". Had about some 17s, but it was weird because Shorty and Herc, they were on super swole for their size.
What did ETG North say? But yeah, Fairfax went undefeated 3A football in 1985 and went 24-2 in basketball. Chris Mill's name was ringing for sure, for sure.
I think Washington. I think Washington had the best hurdles. I think they won the hurdles because
Dang,
that's when they had Bub on their team, Cunningham.
ETG North, man, you had your Spanish teacher in 10th and 11th grade. Man, you a lucky dog, man. I would have loved to have a nice teacher when I was in high school.
I never fell in love with a teacher. I
Me
used to
neither.
just,
Me
like,
neither. I wasn't none of them cute enough to fall in love with.
yeah, I would
But
talk to her.
yeah, you know, it's a lot of men's fantasy though.
I liked it one prison guard though. She was
Well,
fine
there you
as
go.
all
Why,
outdoors. I
why
mean,
you didn't hit?
I would see her walking when an alarm would go off and she would run. It would jiggle, boy. I would be like, damn. She would
Man,
always come be the last one. They would all be running across the yard, and then she would come, and I'd be like, dang, everything would be like blue, 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 blue. And I was like, I love it like that. And then she just go by.
I was
Yeah.
15 to 16. She was 32. 3 times a week after school, right in Spanish club. Wow, she was a desperate woman.
Mm.
Damn. Wow.
I used to like the Charlie's Angel, the one, the blonde. I had her
Oh,
poster. I had her poster.
oh
My
yeah.
girl, my girlfriend tore that shit up.
They set us up for that, man. They made all the white women with blonde hair be the attractive woman for viewers, man.
Yeah, they brainwashed us.
Man.
Yeah. They gonna put a do rag on Aunt Jemima. Then they said,
So
"Wait a minute, we're not even gonna put her on the pancake or the syrup anymore."
my nephew, I don't even want to throw age out there, but he was very, very young. And he was messing with my sister's high school friend. You matter of fact, you knew her. You probably know her. I can't think of her name right now, but I'll find it for you. He was messing with her. He was a little kid. It was his best friend's mom, and
My little brother Lucky was attracting them older girls. I would be
but
like, "What the hell?
but
Well,
he
isn't
moved,
he y'all's age? Hell no."
but he
You
moved
know,
in
he
with her.
was.
He moved in
Yeah.
with her and her 3 sons because I didn't want all them people in my mama house, and they used to dog my mama dog out and steal my stuff. So when that happened, wasn't nobody in no hurry to say, "Hey, come back home or stay here at night." Like, go
Mm.
on, you got your old woman, go on and handle your business.
Yeah, you that young, you could shit move in.
Yeah, he
You could
did.
run away from home.
He didn't have to run away from home. He could always come back and get him a meal or a few dollars from his mama. We
Yeah,
wasn't.
but she was being nothing but a child molester.
That's what she was doing, exactly.
Yeah, that's what she was doing. I mean, it ain't right. You know, we little boys, we don't care. But when the older ladies are doing that to us, we like thinking it's cool, but something's wrong with the person's brain.
Baby E, you crazy for that one. He said he like older women. Get the insurance policy.
Oh, he's gonna knock him off.
Oh no, I hope not.
He's gonna be sitting up in one of them level fours. This guy had a MO. He would marry these old women, and they would all mysteriously have a heart attack. How many did he marry? 5. Oh shit, something's wrong. They do
Damn.
them autopsies. They'll say he was giving them Ritalins and he was giving them all kind of shit.
we're gonna see Baby E on Dateline. This guy was a admitted Crip from Los Angeles area, and he he
Yeah.
married his he married his ex.
Grandmother's best friend. he, married, he married his grandmother's best friend, who was 9 years older than his grandmother.
He got an insurance policy on her, and
Yeah.
oh man,
She had a terminal illness, and he took out $1 million. He put up a house to get her $1 million policy. How long
hey,
does it take to get that million? Though she has to live for like 6 months.
my man said, I don't know, Q. My man
Uh,
said, just take him for a long walk to the Grand Canyon. Hey, grandmother's best friend is crazy work.
we laughing about it, but women do this crime more than men. They
I know.
marry them old ass dudes, and they get them in bed and give them a heart attack. They take some fucking uppers and just f them to death.
Hey,
Oh man, I'll be there. Boom.
I was watching Dateline the other day, right? And it was this prominent white doctor. Like he was one of the best doctors in the nation. And he had a wife, and everybody liked his wife. She was a nice woman. He started messing with one of his patients. And so he fell in love with her, and he decided to put cyanide. He decided to tell her, you're low on calcium or some shit, or I think it was calcium, but it was some vitamin pills, the capsules. So he took 9 or 10 pills and put cyanide in them. And his whole plan was, when she take her vitamin to leave to go to work, he tells her, baby, take your vitamin. She takes her vitamin, and when she leaves, he's hoping that she's going, a nice speed. She dies and crashes, and they will automatically think she died in a crash. So he gives her the pill. Here, baby, take your pill. She takes the pill. She drives off to work, but she's going slow. She's going real slow to work, and she passes by a school, and the people at the school notices that she's falling asleep. She ends up coming to a light crash, and they go check her out. And like shit, she nodded off. So originally, the death was just, it was just a regular death. But then people started seeing that this dude wasn't remorseful, and he had another girlfriend and stuff like that. And so they opened the case back up. So the detective called the guy and was like, hey, didn't call him, but called him in. And was like, hey,
Yeah,
do you mind if we search your house? Mind you, the murder didn't happen, the funeral, all of this stuff is long gone. And he
yeah.
was like, yeah, I don't mind. And they go search his house and go get her pills, and they test the pills, and there was cyanide in the pills. They said he got away with the perfect murder, except for he didn't throw the pills away when she died.
He was probably gonna give them to the other broad
I thought
once he
about that
started
too.
liking another one.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, they end up locked up with you, and they act like they better than you. I hate when the doctors, they had this dentist in there. So the dentist, he was acting all yuppity and uppity and shit. Everybody said, oh, that's a real dentist. The lady told me, oh, that's the police lady. She said, he was a real dentist on the street, Gilbert. I said, for real? He didn't look like no dentist. I wouldn't let him work on my teeth like that. And she said, he was a real dentist. And kind of find out he was giving the patients that sleeping shit, and he would have sex with them. And he
Yeah.
gave it to one lady, and he gave her too much. And all these women started coming forward saying, well, we were in there. When I woke up, I felt this, I felt that, and this and that. Something wasn't right. So they ended up giving his ass life.
Yeah, I joked about that one time that these women go to the dentist and doctor and they want to get put down. Like, man, that's the craziest thing you can do. Them doctors
Yeah,
be all up in you having fun with you. You don't know
yeah,
what they doing. If you don't bring nobody with you,
yeah.
you don't know what they doing. But yeah, I remember that. a lot of women were saying they felt a little different down there, and they felt like something was going on. But yeah, they do that shit.
Yeah, the gynecologists were bad in like at UCLA, the ones for the sports medicine, they be straight freaks, man. You send your daughter off to go to school, and it be the doctors that get them.
Yeah, basically we're programmed to think doctors are safe, trustworthy type people.
If it ain't the doctors, it's the sports. All them all them men that's over the volleyball team, they always get in
Oh
trouble.
yeah, oh yeah, they've been doing that shit.
And what about the kids that be doing the flips and the tumbles and all of that stuff?
Gymnastics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the gymnasts, they be all over them too.
Cuse, is there anything while you were locked up you wish you could have done, and when you got out, you were like, "It's not what I thought."
No, is there anything I could have done while I was locked up?
Meaning, when you were locked up, is it something you wish you could have done, like went to the mountains in the snow, and then you got out and did it, and it wasn't what you
Oh
thought it
yeah.
was?
Oh no. So when I was locked up, I would always want a dog, and when I was locked up, I always wanted a motorcycle. I'm never a mountain man, a snowman, or an ocean man. I don't like to travel nowhere. I don't
Those
like
are just
touring.
examples.
So it was just, everything I wanted, I fantasized about or thought about. I'm living the dream now.
ETG North said his pops was always suspicious while he was passing Spanish, but hardly went to school. He thought he changed his grades. Man, that's crazy.
How many
What
we got in here, kid?
we got, man, we had 160. We got 138 now. Let me see. Cutes, are we black, African American, Native, or
All right, let
American?
me tell you how it goes, man. If you got any black blood in you, just a drop, the white establishment considers you a Nigger. Understand that. So we could say we Creole, we could say we half Indian, we could say we 3/4 Cherokee and all that. But we're black. And all black people that got here, anybody that was black came from Africa and came from the slave ship. That's how we got here. So we descendants of those people. That's who we are. And they try to make us forget it. That's why they erasing it out of the books for school. They don't want us to know where we came from. And then there's something else you need to know. Since we've been here, it's never been an even playing field for us. So that's why we get in more trouble. Go to prison, join these gangs, because we never felt like we were a part of this, whole. We always felt different because they made us feel different. They tried to give us what was called an inferiority complex. And through the years, we hear now in the 2000s, would go back all the way to the 60s. And then you let people tell their stories how racism affected them in the way that it was. They didn't even have no. You could count the police department in Los Angeles. It probably had only maybe 10 black officers in the 1960s, and 177 didn't have 10. 77 got its first black officer like in the 60s.
Yeah, they was Klansmen.
Yeah, so you just got to realize. So we being treated this way by all of this, authority. When we little kids, we see our parents getting abused by the authority. So we're slaves, man. They know we're descendants of slaves. That's why they don't want to treat us with dignity and respect. So we grew up feeling like, man, we ain't gonna let them treat us that way. So we grew up, feeling, let's fight them. We grew up feeling like thugs and stuff. Because we watched Yes Sir, No Sir. Then we watched Tarzan, yelling, and all the Africans running in the jungle with their eyes buck. Then we go eat at a restaurant. It's called Little Black Sambo's. We gotta sit there, eat our pancakes. Well, you guys come sit way over here in the back by the bathroom over here, where all the other families get to sit up by the window. You know, everything was real racist in California. So
Yeah,
imagine growing up in the South where they had Jim Crow. Couldn't drink out that water fountain, couldn't sit in this level of the movie theater. It was really racist back there. So blacks grow up feeling inferior, so then you get blacks who get a little something and they think that they ain't black no more. I'm half Indian. I'm three-fourths Cherokee. I'm Creole. I don't want to be one of those. I'm light skinned, so I can't say that I'm black. I'm this. I'm Italian. Motherfucker, you just as black as me. It makes you not want to feel what you are. It makes you want to be something that you're not.
we know and identify with our culture off top.
Exactly. So I don't have no problem saying I'm from Kush. I'm ancestors of the slave.
Cute. Have you ever been with a CO out of all that time you did?
I'm not gonna do no self snitching, dude.
It was a female that asked.
Oh, okay.
Hey, hey, I heard a dude say one time, he said, man, he said, he said, if I seen a dude getting some from a CO, I was gonna tell. I'm like, why would you do that? He said, cause I want him off the yard so I could get some. I said, man, y'all
He-
cold.
He's cold.
Man. Where I was, we had a white counselor. She smelled good as hell.
Mm,
Uh, she she looked like a tall Alice Brady. She had that weird ass hair, and
mm.
she allegedly, supposedly, she had five kids by black inmates.
Wow.
But she definitely was would flirt around with the black dudes for sure. How
She
much
was a
of it is true, I don't know. But they used to talk about bending her over on her desk and hitting it and all kind of stuff, man.
she was a kid in the candy store.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to think about it. Imagine you dressing in green or me dressing in green. We come to work every day and we do our count and we work in Silver Brand. So we going down the hallway in Silver Brand. And hey, let's just say they locked up Abalonia for driving her car through, MacArthur's Park. And she was saying she's gonna, make a movie and she wanted to examine, the crack scene. But she was there buying crack, so she get busted. We go down there looking, man. We see her in the cell, man. And she's like telling you to come over there, and you a guard. You don't got a woman. Yeah, man. It's hard on them guards. That's why they don't have a lot of men guards working in the women institution. And the women are the same way in the men institution. People are physical, they get attracted to people. We are visual creatures. If you like something, you don't care that I'm in blue and you in green. If it's something about me that you like, or if it's something about you that I like, then shit. I can tell if somebody likes me 5 minutes after being around them, especially when I was young. I could tell if someone was attracted to me.
I didn't really like his scenario. Because if I was a Sybil Brand, she didn't even have to look like Apollonia. I would have
You,
been like, cute, cute,
yeah,
watch
yeah.
the main gate for me.
You're gonna do a cell abstraction.
Man,
Open up cell 5, cutes. All right, what you going in there for? I think I see something. All right.
I'll be like, hey, you got an infirmary visit today, babe. Let me walk you to the infirmary.
Yeah. Oh, that's probably who got the most action.
You know that.
Yeah, that's who got
You,
the most action.
you know that. Like, hey,
Yeah.
you need a checkup. Let me see. Hey, you smelling fishy. Let me look down there for you. Especially with them pills or them shots to knock you out.
Mm, mm.
Man.
Yeah. Some people don't got no conversation. That's all they do. They go through like giving people Ritalin, fucking goddamn them little pink pills they used to get of women to make them lose weight. But they would give them this other pill that would make them fall asleep, a Valium. Man, my auntie was getting these Valiums. And so my mom took one. She never took one again. She gave me one. I fell asleep for like 4 hours. Now, people were giving those to people for dates, just giving them pills, giving them pills. You give people pills, man, you ain't got no conversation. You ain't
What's
got
up,
no rest.
Hollywood? Good looking out on the birthday drink, homie. Appreciate it. I told you it was Monday though, but good looking out. Lunatic Frank, he said he's doing swell, man. He said he's doing really good, and he was blessed to be home, and he's enjoying life. And
How
he,
long was he locked up?
shit, Lunatic might have did like 42 years, bro.
Dang, he did time like damn. He did time like my Brim homeboy, Crazy Dog.
Yeah, Lunatic Frank went in 81, and he just got out last year.
Wow. Is he off parole?
He says something about, I don't really know, but he says something about uh, they don't bother him. He said something about they don't bother him, they don't sweat him or some shit he told me.
Yeah, he should be off. He did it. He did it. He did all of his parole time in the cell.
Man.
How does he look, Kev? How did the time do him?
I mean, you can't he don't look like nobody that did prison time.
Okay.
He looked more like just an older dude that been working, out here working and probably didn't work, but nah, he cool. He say do Uber, he good.
Okay, good. Because sometimes prison can mess up your mind.
And that was I was surprised. His mind was really sharp. He got a sharp mind. About
That's
the
good.
only thing, and if he see this, he gonna get mad. But me and the homies, we will continue to laugh. So we took like 8 pictures today, right? Me and him, we
Hmm.
took like 8 pictures, and but we used his phone. The pictures were on his phone. So
Yeah.
he sent me one picture. I get the picture, and I'm like, all right, homie, what are the rest of the pictures? And he's not answering. So I'm,
Yeah.
so I'm like, cuz, like, I know you the G homie and everything, but I want some of them pictures. At least
Yeah.
let me see them and see how they came out. And he said, I can't find them. So me and the homie, you mentioned his name earlier. What's up, Keystone? What up, homeboy?
What up,
So
Star?
Keystone will laugh at this because Keystone know Lunatic Frank a million
Yeah.
times better than I do. So we sitting there in a group. It's like 5 of us. We sitting there and we conversating. And Lunatic Frank is doing this the whole time. Through the whole conversation, he's just doing this. So finally I broke the ice. I was like, hey homie, I'm like, you gonna quit playing with your phone and join in this conversation or what? And he says, oh no, I'm looking for the pictures we took. I said, hold up, homie. I said, the pictures are gonna be right there at the top. I said, so either scroll to the top. And he said some OG ass shit to me. He said some shit like, he said, look, check this out. He put his arms out. He got Popeye for him. He put his arms out and he said, look, homie, something about a chicken and you just hang tight. And everybody laughed. I didn't even get the joke. And so he keep on. I'm talking about minutes are going by, homie. He keep going, keep going. So I had, you know me, I had to get him back. I'm an Aries. I let you get off on me. I had to get him back later. So I said, cuz you still on your motherfucking phone, man. I said, you don't know where to find the goddamn picture. Let somebody else find the pictures for you. Goddamn. So now all the homies laughed at him.
Yeah.
And the homeboy that you named takes the phone from me. He like, give me the phone. And he can't find them. He going through the thing and everything. And I said, they got to be in the trash bin. So we go to the trash bin, ain't nothing there. He done deleted all the pictures and the trash bin. So we had to go take the pictures over again.
Man.
But so that's the only thing I seen, that this dude didn't know how to adjust to the cell phones, you
Yeah.
know, taking pictures
Well,
accidentally.
you know how it is when you've been locked up.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
the
yeah.
dude on the train said, "Could I have my phone back?" You know, because I
Yeah.
don't. He gave me his phone, and I don't even know. I'm just looking at it. He gave me the phone, and I'm just looking at it, and I don't know what to do. And he says, "Hey man, could I have my phone back?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, here. I don't want your phone. I'm just, I want to use a phone. I didn't know how to use the phone.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that story you told us that.
yeah, I didn't know how to use no damn
But
phone.
yeah, Lunatic Frank, other than that, he had all his faculties and stuff. What up with you, Stone, man? Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah.
Lunatic Frank was cool.
I'm
Except
glad he made it out of there.
yeah, he made it out.
We had the same cellie. We had the same cellie in prison.
Mm,
He had vamp for a cellie, and I had vamp for a cellie.
mm.
Yeah,
Man, ET,
Vamp's back with 100 years.
ETG North say his Spanish teacher is
Mhm.
58 now, and she fine as hell. She
Man,
probably
50 ain't even old, man. What is he talking about? I thought you had a granny, man.
she probably 58 and look like Maxine Waters.
Oh shit.
Maxine pushing 90, ain't she?
Maxine has still got fire. She still talks shit about Trump.
I think she lost her spunk though. She still has her mentality, but she don't have the fire.
Oh, she ain't no Jasmine Crockett no
Oh
more.
man, Jasmine be going in. Jasmine's pretty intelligent. She just try to be too hood.
Well, I like her hood. I like Al Green though. Al Green's my favorite senator now.
Yeah, he losing his fire too, but I like how he tried to jump ship off from that Trump speech. But they
Yeah.
didn't back him. They didn't support him at all.
No, they don't support him.
Stone, you just kicked back, man. Stone. I hung out with the homies today. Stone, some good homies. It
Stone
wasn't a
should have
whole lot of them though.
Stone should have came with that Chevrolet down there.
Stone be working. Q's, did they roll glass houses when you was young?
Yeah, the homeboy from where Nine Deuce Hoover had one, Crazy Rock.
Mm.
He had a red one. I think Cartoon's brother. No, Cartoon's brother had a Camaro. Yeah, but Rock had one. Rock had a badass red one. He had some Dayton wires on it with some 695 tires,
Mm.
1 inch white tire. You know that 1 inch white wall on there, and he had a 8-track in there. The interior was clean. It was clean as a Cadillac.
Asiatic Supreme said, fun fact, Maxine Waters, 86 years old.
Yeah, it's all right. She's still down for the fight.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Quotes. What happened to, oh, he said cutes. Cutes, what happened to Crazy Rock?
I don't know. Well, Crazy Rock got religion. That's what happened to Crazy Rock. He
Mm.
got religion.
I need to find religion too, man.
Yeah, he got religion.
Much love and respect from the East Side Bloods, Philippines. Good afternoon, OGs.
All right, OG Bloods. Send my regards to all y'all.
Yeah, man. Maxine used to be a beast, though, man. Four
Yeah,
years
yeah.
ago, she still had fire 4 years ago, but she
I
been
tried to
quiet.
write her a letter when I was locked up.
Oh yeah.
I said, this lady could probably cuss these people out and let me out of here.
What's your favorite section of San Diego, Q's?
San Diego got where all the millionaires and stuff is, La Jolla, all of that. I don't like none of that. My favorite part of San Diego is Market Street. Going down Market Street. I like the 30s. Bumping all the way down to the 70s.
The
Like
West Coast
Imperial.
30s, huh?
Imperial. I like being over there. I like you know sometime downtown San Diego, down there. I like going to Mission Bay sometime. I like going up over there where Monster and them was at, up in Oceanside. So going over there where Junior Seau used to live, uh, when he had his first house on Zeiss. Sometimes I like going back up in there. San
Mm,
Diego got a lot of nice places, man. San
yeah,
Diego's if you got money, you could enjoy San Diego. You got to have money because everything is real expensive down here. Maybe if I had money, I would like to go Capistrano, go, all them beautiful beach areas and shit. But I don't go over there. You got to go where you fit in.
man, these dudes be tripping me out. Cute, you working?
Yeah, I work. Yeah, I've been going to work. My hands well. I'm back working, so that's good. You know.
I feel you, ETG North. He really in love with that Spanish teacher.
Show us a picture, just of some of her.
He better be careful. He say he got a girl already, man. This dude's still
Uh,
playing around with the Mexican chick.
you better be careful. Might get cut. Gotta be careful.
They said Oceanside is kind of rugged.
Yeah, Oceanside is more rough, but there's a part of Oceanside that got millionaires too, right bumped against the beach.
Glad to hear you well, Cutes. You give us a lot of inspiration. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I'm gonna give you this last question, Cutes.
All right.
Zulu Time Productions. Cutes, did you ever run across any Panthers when you were on the streets when you were younger?
Yeah, I was once running over. I was running from the man, and I was hanging out over there with my homie Sleepy, from ETG, and he was staying on 102nd and Yukon, and Babyface was over there too. So I was over there, hanging out with them, and then a panther was hanging out over there too. He was running. They was looking for him in Oakland, and he was over there, and he was holding up in the Cootacoos too. Now, this was before they made the Cootacoos be for unwed mothers. That those apartments over there.
Mm,
And it was he had one of them names like it was like Drumbo or Drungo or something. It
mm,
was him, and he was with George Jackson in there, but he ended up like getting out. He didn't do a lot of time. This dude,
mm,
and he was running, and he was holding up over there. So I met him, and he showed me pictures. He had his big old photo albums, and it had pictures of all of them in there. Had everyone I ever wanted to see was in there.
mm. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. All right, Hollywood. Take it easy, man. Y'all have a good night. Maybe I'll see y'all tomorrow. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to COG Cubes. And like that, we out of here.
In peace.